Hello there. I'm USA Today bestselling author, storyteller, and cheeky wench Susan Tisdale. I've been writing since I was a little girl, but in 2011 I published my first novel. Since then, I've hit the USA Today bestsellers list 3 times, and I've sold more than 750,000 copies of my books around the world. I'd like to welcome you to the Cheeky Wench channel, where we discuss all things writing related, from writing to publishing to marketing and everything else in between. So grab your notebooks and your favorite beverage and let's get down to it.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. How are you? It's good to see all of you. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way in. Please ignore how I look. It's been a long day, long writing day. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. Cold? Me too. I put on my writing gloves. I have on a sweater. So yeah, hi Angie, hi Dawn, hi Smurf, hi Diana, hi everyone. Yep, I was cold all day today. Could not get warm. So I'm having a nice cup of hot tea. Yorkshire Gold, baby. I had to lay off the coffee tonight, Diana. It was just not settling in my stomach properly. So I have switched to hot tea and my water. I got one nap in today. It was much needed. Okay, well, edits are there. We do those for a reason. We got to make sure that we're putting out good material, right? So we are still on baby watch. Little guy is not here yet. She's actually due Saturday, the 16th. So basically it's we're at the anytime now stage, but I could tell you she is quite ready to be over all of this. She's done being pregnant. And if you ask her how far along she is, she'll say, I'm 1,010 weeks. I remember those days. I do. Oh, I like the Yorkshire Gold tea, Smurf. I really do. It's good stuff as far as I'm concerned. But then, everybody's got their opinions on everything, right? I love Scrivener. Not everybody loves Scrivener. So it's turned out to be kind of a blustery day here. The rain has started to fall, and it's a little bit breezy, and it's a whole lot chilly. And I'm okay with that. I would rather have it like this than 115 in the shade, right? Show of hands on who got to write today. I've written every day. I think I only took one day off, and that was Saturday because I had my grandkids for the weekend, and I had already surpassed my word count goal several days in a row, so I was really super excited about that. Good for you, Angie. I think we sprinted today, didn't we? Yeah, I know I sprinted with Lori today too. So it was a good day. Let's see. What do we want? This for everybody who got to write today. This is for you. You deserve it. You worked hard. That's okay, Diana. Hands while I'm not working correctly. I can barely type. Oh, Smurf. I'm sorry to hear that, honey. I hope it gets better very soon for you. I truly do. It's no fun when the thinners aren't working properly. It's no fun. So I feel your pain. Been there, done that, and yeah, it's no fun. Well, thinking about it might count too, Diana. I thought about writing Saturday, but again, I was just too busy with my grandbabies. Oh my God, my granddaughter. I'm telling you what. So Sunday morning, I got up at 5:30 and I came into my office to write. And I knew probably between 6:30 and 7 the little boogers would wake up, and so I put a sign on my office door. It said, "Grandma's writing. Malaya or Carter, take care of your little sister and make her some breakfast. Malaya, don't bother your brother too much." So I hear him around 7:30, and I know they were beat feet for my office because that's what they do whenever they're here. And I heard Malaya stop, and she started to read the sign out loud, and it was so sweet. She's so cute. So I waited a minute, and I came out and gave him their good morning lovin's and everything. And Emily says, "Grandma, I read your note." And I said, "I know, I heard." And she said, "I'm not hungry, and I'm going to bother my brother today all day long." It's like she was trying to prepare me for that eventuality. Hi, Ashley. Same hand they cut on twice earlier this year. Has you worried? Oh, it'd worry me too, Smurf. It really would. Anyway, I love my grandbabies, and they're excited to meet their new sibling. And we all are. We all can't wait to meet this little guy. So exciting times. Yeah, she's a treasure. I'm telling you what, she got her a couple weekends ago. She got her training wheels taken off her bicycle, and of course she turns into an instant Evel Knievel. I'm telling you, this girl is fearless. Absolutely fearless. And later on, a couple days later, I get a video from her dad, and it's her on a hoverboard, just hovering around. She's fearless. She has no fear. She has no fear, except of wasps. She doesn't like wasps. Those make her run and scream. So anyway, let's see. Show of hands. Okay, we're going to go way off topic. Way off topic. What did you think of the verdict in the Delphi trial? I was stunned. I hate the fact that it was not televised. That just pisses me off to no end. I have so many questions. So many flippin' questions about that. And I really hope that they appeal. And if they get the appeal, and let's say they say he gets a new trial, I really hope that one's televised. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, Diane, and Smurf. We didn't get to watch it, so we don't know all the evidence that they have. So we're getting it secondhand from people who were in the court, right? And from what I heard, there's just lots of questions. Lots of questions. I have questions. I have numerous questions. But anyway, I just needed to state my 2 cents on that. If he does get another trial, I really hope it's televised this time. I hope the appeals process is televised, because I would like to see that and hear that. Tony, we're talking about the Delphi trial out in Indiana with Richard Allen. So, yeah, I guess I have so many freaking questions. So many questions. But anyway, I digress. We're not here to talk trials tonight. We're here to talk about writing. Hi, Carolyn. Oh, good for you, honey. Yeah, the murder of Abby and Libby, just absolutely devastating. So anyway, I was able to get a new swoop. I had to create it, but I got us a new swoop. And of course, dumbass me forgot to upload it. So it's been a busy day. I wrote over 3,000 words today. I am so stinking happy. I don't even know how many I ended up getting in, but I know it was a lot. And I know, according to my pacemaker thingy, I am 43%. I have 43% of the book done. So that brings me great joy. So we're going to move on and talk about writing. I like the new swoop. I don't think it's quite as awesome as my last one, but hey, I don't know what happened. Don't know where it went. Can't find it. Anyway, we are going to be talking about emotions tonight, and emotions in writing. and how important conveying those emotions that your characters are feeling to your reader. And when I first started my career, I had a really hard time understanding what people meant by show versus tell. And it was one of those things that I couldn't quite wrap my head around. And sometimes I would get called on it. Still didn't understand what the hell they were talking about. But anyway, I have since learned the difference between show versus tell. And I reached out to some of my very, very dear friends, and a few of them were able to respond and help me with examples of how to show your reader what your character is feeling. Okay. And I think these examples will help you understand what I'm talking about when I say show versus tell. So this one is from the awesome and fabulous Kate Robbins. And if you've not read her, you need to. She writes some of the most amazing Scottish historical romance that you will ever get your hands on. And I love her to the moon and back. So this is from Kate. So I wonder if I should probably share this. It might make it easier to notes. Share. And wonder if I can get rid of this. Nope. Why don't you see all my notes? How do I do this? Okay. So first we're going to start with Kate. And she writes, she was angry when she entered the room and told him she wanted her money returned. Okay. Straight and to the point, right? But we don't always want straight and to the point. Sometimes we need to show them rather than tell them. So that versus this. Jenny didn't bother knocking before barging into Jack's office. She stood there with her hands on her hips and waited for him to acknowledge her. When he didn't, she marched over to his desk, placed her hands flat on the polished oak, and said, "You will pay me every cent I'm owed." So do you see the difference? Oh, it's just notes on my Mac. It's just called Notes, Tony. Or who asked that? Diana. Yeah, it's just notes. So, yes, exactly. Smurf's got it right. The first sentence that she wrote, it lacks the descriptors. Don't just tell me she's mad. Don't just tell me she's going to, she wants her money back. Show me. So when I write, I envision these scenes in my head like a movie, right? And you have to pretend that your reader doesn't necessarily get to see the same movie that's playing in your head, right? You need to show them the movie that's playing in your head. Okay? You need to show them what the characters are doing and feeling. And I know I say this all the flipping time, that it's genre driven. Everything is genre driven. I firmly believe that. There are things that you can get away with in contemporary romance that you can't necessarily get away with in historical romance. Okay? So I know that through my personal experience, my readers want the bigger books and they want more of those descriptors. They want the pretty, flowery words, right? And I firmly believe that your contemporary readers want that as well. However, you can, with contemporary, those descriptors can be shorter, briefer. Does that make sense? Put a one in the chat if I'm making any sense. Oh, I love the lawyer, Carolyn. I really do. Um, yes, Smurf's got a good example here. Micah's here. Let me put this up. Micah's jaw slowly clenched as the news of her affair slowly sank in. So we know he's undoubtedly stunned and probably angry, because usually we attribute a clenched jaw with anger, gritted teeth with anger, frustration, rage, fury, whatever. Oh, yay. Diane says, I always tell my authors that. How do you know she was angry? What did her facial features do in her body language? Exactly. So it's up to you to describe to your readers what is going on in that moment and in those surroundings with those characters. Okay? You need to show all the emotions: anger, frustration, passion, humor, humility, embarrassment, frustration, intrigue. You need to show it. You need to describe it to the reader. Okay? So another really good example, and this one comes from Samantha Cole. I just love her. Note that this is part of a longer section of this that really makes you feel his despair, but I think they'll get the gist of it here. Okay, so this is from a book that she's actually published, and I just fell in love with this. This is one of her books that I haven't read yet that I need to get my hands on. So here goes. And this again is from Samantha A. Cole. Kneeling at the altar of the small chapel, he stared up at the enormous wooden crucifix and prayed everything had been a nightmare, a horrible, reversible nightmare. Holy water dripped from his hands and trailed back to the baptismal font, where he tried to cleanse the invisible blood from his skin for the past 4 hours. However, it was useless. His flesh and soul were stained and would be forevermore. Seriously, can you imagine in your mind? I could just picture the church. I can picture that font. I can picture the water. I can literally hear the water drip from his fingers back into the pool of water, right? Exactly, Carolyn. It is on point, and Samantha is absolutely brilliant. I forgot to send her an invite. Yeah, my heart breaks for him too, right? So those are ways of describing the scene. Now, I've talked a lot about scene setting in the past, time of year, time of day, seasons, or does the room, where are they? Are we in a room? Are we outside? What time of day is it? Is it early morning, mid-afternoon, late at night, whatever? Scene setting to me is vitally, vitally, vitally important. And Samantha has succeeded, and so did Kate, in both of these examples, right? They have set a scene, letting us know where we're at. Okay. With Kate, we're in an office building. And with Samantha, we're at, I'm going to assume, a Catholic church, right? With the baptismal. I can never say that word. Isn't that awful? I'm so bad. Let's go back to this. The baptismal font. So that's the little thing that holds the water. And we know So we know they have done two things. They have set the scene. They let us know where we are at, and they have let us know what the characters are doing. It's not just setting the actual scene. You know, it was a dark winter's night, inky starry sky, blah blah blah. They're also describing to you what is happening with our characters. With Kate, it's two characters, right? But with Samantha's, it's just the one character trying to scrub. I can just imagine that his hands are raw from all the scrubbing of his hands. I'll find that for you just a second because she did tell me. Let me go check my emails. Okay. Okay, here's the whole opening scene. It's the road to solace. And she says it's her favorite scene that she's ever written. And it begins with, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Please, please help me." And then we get to the kneeling at the altar of the small chapel. Oh, this is so good. Okay, so I'm going to read the rest of this to you, okay? Because I firmly believe that this is just really good. So this is from her book, The Road to Solace. Okay? Sorry, I have way too many windows open. IOQ. Oh, I want to read the baptismal font book. Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to read this to you because I think it's beautiful. So we'll start at the very beginning of everything that Samantha sent me. "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Please, please help me." Kneeling at the altar of the small chapel, he stared up at the enormous wooden crucifix and prayed everything had been a nightmare, a horrible, reversible nightmare. Holy water dripped from his hands and trailed back to the baptismal font, where he tried to cleanse the invisible blood from his skin for the past 4 hours. However, it was useless. His flesh and soul were stained and would be forevermore. The silence in the centuries-old stone church was louder than anything he'd ever experienced. It permeated his thoughts. He was drowning in wave after wave of remorse and despair, of evil and horror. They were coming for him. He wasn't sure why it hadn't happened yet, but they would come looking for him soon. Seconds had given way to minutes in his mind. Minutes had become hours. "Why, Father? Why was I there? Why didn't you stop him? Why didn't you stop me?" His heavy head hung low as he clasped his hands together, extending forward the bronze figure suspended on the wooden cross by the metal stakes driven into the hands and feet. His knees ached from the cold, hard floor, but he refused to stand. He deserved the pain and so much more for what he'd done. At 34, almost his entire adult life had been dedicated to serving the Lord. His faith was the one thing he'd found comfort in, but today that faith had been tested and he'd failed miserably. The devil inside him had taken over his mind, body, and yes, his soul. It didn't matter that the evil had been in response to an even greater evil, one which had no remorse, one which had harmed an innocent child. Holy shit. Okay. What do you think so far? Now, do you get it? Do you get it now? How she's describing the scene. She's setting the mood. She's showing you through the character's actions and with a little narration what this character, who he is and what he's going through, right? Is that not? Yeah, it's deep. That is so, holy shit. Let me text Samantha. Hang on. Gosh darn it. I love her so much. Just give me a moment. I'm gonna text her. But I want to okay. I can't text her on my computer because she doesn't have an iPad, so I gotta do it the old school way. Okay, hang on. They are loving, all caps, Road to Solace. Oh, come on. Fat thumbs, I tell you what. Okay. She's good, very good. Painting pictures using words in an awesome talent to have. It is. It truly, truly is. And that should be every author's goal. You're painting with words, right? You're painting, just like Smurf says, you're painting with words, you're painting a picture. You want your readers to feel two things: what your character's feeling, and hopefully what you felt when you were writing those words. Does that make sense? Put a one in the chat if it makes sense what I'm trying to say. But Samantha has just got this art, this, I'm going to call it a spiritual gift. Okay, the spiritual gift of being able to paint and set a scene externally, meaning what's going on around the character, and internally what's going on with the character, in ways that make me absolutely jealous. Seriously, it's like, holy shit, I wish I'd written that. So some of you said, just bought it, give me the link, blah, 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 because you've read this. I have read to you this little tiny passage, these few paragraphs, right? And you were instantly hooked and you went out to get the book. That's what you want your readers to do with your books. Yeah. Opening scene, that those first, I'm telling you, the most important 5 sentences of your book are the first 5 sentences, because that's where you are going to reel your reader in. You're going to hook them and you're going to hang on to them, hopefully hang on to them, because you don't want just, 5 really kick-ass sentences and then the rest of the book go. So, but the beginning of that book, whether you write a prologue or not, the beginning of your book has to grab them in one way or another. You have to make it interesting enough so that they want to read more, just like you want to read more. $3 and change on Kindle right now. Exactly. And it's worth every penny of it, because you're going to be entertained. This is why I say it's important that we read other authors, maybe not necessarily in the genres that we write in, but you can learn a lot from these other very, very successful authors, right? Now, I don't like to look, okay, Road to Solace, is that what it was? I can't remember. Let me go back to the email. I think it says Road to Solace. Yeah, The Road to Solace by Samantha A. Cole. Okay. Thank you, Diana. So anyway, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Well, damn. There goes the ADD for you. Shroom, shroom. So, all of the emotions, think down when you're writing a story and you get to a part where you really need to convey to your reader what this character is feeling. Don't just tell them she was upset, so she cried. I want to know why she's upset and what kind of tears, what kind of crying. Are they soft and gentle tears that just kind of trail down your cheek and they're really quiet and just quiet, contemplative tears? Are they quiet tears of despair? Is she too weak to scream? Are they tears of joy? Are they tears of happiness? Are they tears of relief? Are they tears of anger and fury or outrage? You have to describe to your reader why that particular character is crying and how they are crying. Are her shoulders racking with sobs? Has she thrown herself onto her bed and just crying into her pillow? That type of thing. Oh yeah, she is so good, Ashley. You all are going to love it. Yes, the emotional thesaurus, which is what gave me the idea to do tonight's show on emotions, is filled with great examples of how to show your readers what your characters are feeling instead of just telling them. Carolyn said, I second the Emotion Thesaurus by Angela Ackerman. Okay. Body Beats to Build On by April Gardner is also great to go along with it. Sweet. Now, I've never paid attention to beats. I know a lot of authors do, and that probably makes them fabulous authors. I don't know why. Maybe I should get the book, the Body Beats, in order to understand it better. Maybe it's something I'm doing intuitively, or maybe it's something I really need to start doing. Tony has the audiobook queued for tomorrow. Good. Right? Oh, okay. I gotta send Samantha the link. Un momento. She wants to come in and say hi. So let me grab the link. I don't know how to do it from StreamYard, so just bear with me for a minute. Okay, hang on. Okay. There we go. Okay. I hope you can still hear me. I have sent her the link, and she'll probably be in shortly. Okay. Oh, Samantha's here. Hi, Samantha. We've just been, I bet your ears are burning, honey. Oh, they have loved your example. Some have bought the actual book and some have got the audiobook. Yeah. And I only read a couple of paragraphs. I didn't read the whole thing, and they were hooked. And I'm like, holy shit. So now I've got to go get the book and read it, because that is some fine writing. If anybody's got any questions for Samantha, go ahead and put them in the chat and we will ask her the questions. But yeah, everybody was loving it, honey. That baptismal font, they loved it. So I didn't read the entire thing. But what I did read, everybody's like, oh, I want more. So they went out and they bought the book. So congratulations to you, sweetheart. And your talent, I was telling them, I think this is just a spiritual gift straight from God. Just my 2 cents. Not everybody can write that well. Not everybody can grab the soul like you did with these few short passages. But that's something we all strive for, and that's, we all want to write exceptionally well like you do. Okay, so your writing, your examples, that you sent me, your samples, just makes us all want to be better writers. Writing falls off the bone. Exactly. Yep. I bet. So I think Samantha's trying to catch up reading the comments, but yeah, it was fabulous. So the Emotion Thesaurus is a great place to start. It gives great examples on how to, again, show your reader what your character is feeling and what is going on around the character. I think those two things are equally as important. Like we talked about a few minutes ago, you can set a great scene, but we also need to know, and not every thought with every sentence of dialogue that you have between your characters, not every single moment of that has to have a descriptor. Okay, you don't have to say she sat down, she stood up, she nodded, she breathed out through her nostrils, she said this, and then she said that, and then he said this, and then he said that, and then. You don't have to do that. Okay, but not with every single moment. Okay, but there are moments that are vitally important that you explain to your reader what your character is going through. So, yeah, she's not just describing. Samantha takes the reader there. Exactly. Exactly. I agree 100%. I'm trying to read the comments too, so bear with me. So we'll open it up to questions. If anybody has any questions, again, we're still on baby watch. Baby's still not here. Any day now. Mama is miserable. She's just exhausted. She's exhausted. She's miserable. Terrified that this is going to be some 15-pound kid. I don't think he's going to be that big, but I'm not carrying him, so what the hell do I know? So yeah, if you have any questions that you would like to ask, go ahead and put them in the chat. Hi, Aurora. That's okay, honey. We started. I started starting earlier at 5:30 because 7:30 was just too late. Question: in your experience, do 100K word historical books sell better than shorter ones? Yes, in my personal experience, Ashley. Short books do sell, but I personally find, at least with my readers, that they want the bigger, meatier books. Short books can sell. I have a lot of novellas out there, and they do well. They do well, but I just know that with my readers, they want the bigger books. And Ashley, did you not just publish your first book, right? Or am I missing you up with somebody else? Which is quite possible because my brain is absolutely fried. Yeah, so it's your first book. Don't worry about sales yet. Okay. You need to be working on book number 2 and book number 3. Okay. You have to, our readers, our historical romance readers, most of them like serial novels, meaning novels in a series. Like I have my Clan McDougall series. I've got my Clan McDonough. I've got the McCulloughs. I've got the McCallans and Randalls. I've got all these. I've got several different stories, and when it seems to me that and again, just my personal experience, when I release the 3rd book in that series, then the sales from book 1 and 2 go up exponentially. It's like they're buying all 3 at the same time. Because some people just don't want to wait the 6 months or year between novels, so they wait until they're all 3 out and then they buy them. And then I like to surprise them later with a 4th book, but that's just me. That's just me. Tony says, when I read historicals, I want time to spend in that world and get wrapped up in it. Exactly. Smurf has a question. Okay. When writing, do you find it easier to actually be feeling your character's emotion or as close as you can get to it at the time when you're describing it? Yes. Yes, I truly do. There are times when I have written scenes that were just, God, they were hard to write. They were difficult to write, but they needed written. Okay. For example, in Brogan's Promise, when She is going through what we would now call the withdrawals or the DTs. I felt every bit of what she was going through and what Brogan was going through, because I did not pull any punches with that book. I mean, she was having hallucinations. She was vomiting. She was urinating on herself. She was every bad, ugly thing that you could possibly imagine someone would go through during the DTs. I put her through that, and I felt it. And there were several scenes in that book that were very difficult for me to write, and that was one of them. And I ended up crying through the whole thing. Okay. So do you have to do that with every single scene? No. Can you write a scene that makes you giggle? Oh, I laugh at my books all the time. I laugh at what things that my characters say, especially when they're being smartasses. I absolutely love it when they get a little sassy. And sometimes I'm bitterly angry, just like my characters are. Now, does it happen with every single scene in every single book? No. But does it happen frequently? Yes. So yeah, Brogan's Promise is a good example. And then the ending to The King's Courtesan, which is now known as The Edge of Forever. Don't even get me started on that. Very short epilogue, but it took me 5 hours to write it because I could not quit bawling. Okay, because I was feeling it. So yes, Smurf. It's easier sometimes to actually feel what the character's feeling in order to write it. I hope that helped. I hope I didn't drabble on too long. Let's see. I spent 2 hours or more today editing a story, have about 100 pages to give or take, finish the round of edits. Story's done, just editing, passes out. LOL. I feel you. Let's see. Ashley says, thank you. That's encouraging. I know I love binging series. Exactly. So your readers are going to behave like you do 9.5 times out of 10, right? As soon as they're done with this book, like book 1 in a series, what do? We immediately go look for the next book in that series. And then we're like, oh, crap, it's not going to be out for 3 more months. Pre-order. If you do that, your reader's going to do that, right? And you want them to go searching for that next book. You want them hounding you for the next book. You want them emailing you saying, oh my God, I love this book. When is the next one out? So that's the goal. So Ashley, don't worry if sales aren't spectacular on your first book release ever. That's okay. We all went through it. Most of us went through it. My experience was totally different than everybody else's, but that was the Cinderella story and not the norm. So anyway, you're doing just fine. You have written an absolutely fabulous book. Now just and I know it's hard. Not to check your book sales every 20 minutes all day long, because you just want to know if people are buying it means it's good, right? So the more books you write, the higher up on the Amazon algorithms that you will get, and if you're wide, the higher up you will become at Barnes and Noble and Apple and Kobo and all the other places. So yeah, my advice to you, honey, is going to be just focus on that very next book. That is all you can do. I heard that too, Don. The editing cost for my book was pretty steep, so I'm kind of glad to have some time in between publishing, but I have heard it's a great strategy. What strategy? What did I miss? Oh, okay. Yes. Dawn says she was told that I should make sure I have 3 books written before publishing the first. Yes. If you can get away with that, more power to you. Things were different back in 2011 and 12 when I first started. Way different. But yes, if you can wait and you've got 3 books in that series written, my recommendation would be do not release book 1 until book 3 is with the editor. Okay. And then you could some people like to do every 30 days, new release in that series. Some people like to do, every 3 months. That's my favorite way of doing it, is quarterly. but my readers expect that from me, and it's different for newer authors. Everybody's going to have a different way of doing it. What works for me will not necessarily work for all of you, and that's one of the most frustrating things about indie publishing. A sales strategy might have worked yesterday, but it's not working today, and that makes absolutely no sense. Why something was going really, really well for like weeks and weeks and weeks, and then suddenly it stopped. It's like, what the hell? What happened? So it's a very fluid industry, very fluid. Just don't be afraid. Okay, don't be afraid to try new strategies, but I say that with this caveat. Don't try a new strategy every 3 hours. Just stop. Give it 30 days and see if it works. And if it doesn't, then try something new, because things aren't going to be instantaneous. Okay? You have to give these things time. And just as you wouldn't want to be in a rush to releasing a book that's not quite finished, you don't want to rush in your strategies. Does that make sense? I hope so. I know I say that a lot, but then I sometimes worry I'm just rambling on. Let's see. Tony says, the wonderful thing about writing is when you think of a really good comeback later, you can go back and edit and add it, unlike real life. True. I do that sometimes because I'm still feeling it after I'm done. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Smurf says, thanks, helped tremendously. I also try to feel what my characters are feeling before describing. Some emotions are tougher to feel, though. Exactly. Aurora says, I already have ideas for the next book for this one. Characters will reappear and other characters will be the lead in the second book. That's how I do it, honey. Don says, Ashley Doris, I think that's what keeps a lot of people from publishing. Looking forward to reading yours. Yeah. There's lots of things that keep people from publishing. You read my mind. It's so hard not to check my book sales and page reads. I understand completely, honey. I get it. Trust me. Samantha will tell you we've all been there, done that, and have the scars to prove it. Samantha says most new indie authors won't develop a following until at least the release of their fourth or fifth book. That was true for me back in 2015, and it's still true today. I agree. I think we discussed this last week. You can't just write a book and slap a $10 price tag on it and expect it to sell 1 million copies in a week. It just does not happen that way. Again, this is a fluid industry and things take time. Don't be discouraged. I have read half of your book, Ashley, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. I freaking love it. So just don't be discouraged and don't give up. Okay, you want to be a doctor, right? Let's say you wake up tomorrow and decide you want to be a brain surgeon. Well, you're not going to become a brain surgeon overnight. You've got to go to school for that stuff. And just think of this moment in time. While you're working on book 2, you've just released your first book. Now you're working on the second book in that series. Just think of it as your college education. You're getting your gen eds out of the way. Those first 3, 4, 5 books, those are your gen eds, right? Those are the books that you, what's the term I want to use? Samantha, what's the term I want to use? Damn it. Cut your teeth. That's it. Those first few books are the ones you cut your teeth in indie publishing on, right? And think of it as it's a learning experience. And yes, sometimes it feels like a baptism by fire. But if you are open-minded enough and remind yourself that this is just the beginning of your career, it's not the middle, it's not the end, it's the very, very beginning of your career, and you still have a whole lot to learn. Even I still have a whole lot to learn. I suck at marketing. Absolutely suck at marketing. I hate marketing. I don't like doing it. I don't like talking about it. I don't know the first thing about marketing. I have tried Amazon ads. I have tried TikTok ads and Instagram ads. I've tried all sorts of things. Facebook ads, all of it. And I don't know if it's just my chemical makeup, if it's the ADD that I have, or what have you. Don't know. Don't really care at this point. It's something I don't stress or not necessarily stress. It's something I don't put a lot of time and effort into. I know I should. I know if Chastity Boland was here right now, she'd say, Southern accent hers. Oh, honey, you're just breaking my heart hearing you say that. I can just hear her now. Every time I hear you say something like that, it just breaks my heart. And I know it's something I need. I really do need to get better at, but I just suck at it. So that's why will bring people in who are much better at the marketing end of this stuff than I am. I could talk to you all night long about craft, writing skills, plotting, character development, scene setting. I can talk to you all night long about all of that part of the business. I can talk to you about how to comport yourself properly, publicly. I can teach you all sorts of stuff. I really can. Just don't ask me to teach you about marketing. When I started, we didn't need to know that. There was no such thing as marketing. We wrote the book, we published it, and that was it. To a certain extent, okay? And this was way back when Kindles were just coming out, and I hit it at the right time. And again, mine is a Cinderella story. So, yes, Samantha says, so release book 1 and then start book 2, then book 3. Okay. You can do it that way, which is how I always do it. But a lot of people like to have, I know, Liliana Hart. Oh, I love her. If you haven't read her, you need to. She's phenomenal. But she writes the first 3 books in a series first, and then she releases them I think she used to do every 90 days. I'm not sure if she still does that or if it's every 30 days now. I like the every 90 days strategy, but again, that works for me. My readers expect it, etc. So whatever works better for you, but I do encourage people to have those 3 books written first, especially in today's market. The way things are, the way things go or are done today is so totally different than back in 2011 when I first started. So yeah, I think that is a tremendous strategy to have all 3 of those books written, hang on to them, and just release either one every 90 days, one every 60 days, or one every 30 days, however you are most comfortable doing it, and see what happens. Samantha says the authors today are also facing lower reviews on sites. Now that Zon lets people just rate and not review, it's harder to get reviews. Exactly. It's worse on the wide sites. BookBub and GR might have even more. We don't talk about GR here, Samantha. Just don't. Let's see. Samantha says, to Aurora, all my series have recurring characters. Sub-characters get their HEAs in later books. Exactly. And that is a fabulous way of doing it. And that's the way I've always done it. Samantha also says, if you're writing a gut-wrenching scene and you're crying, you've done it right. Exactamundo. If you're crying, you know your reader's going to bawl. Okay, so quick story. It won't be quick. You all know me. I'm not known for brevity. So I wrote a book several years ago titled The King's Courtesan, which is now known as The Edge of Forever. And this is how I knew that I was good at this. First of all, I'd never researched a book more than I researched for that one, because this is set in Italy. I'm using real characters blended with fictional characters. And I set it in Turin, and we've got the king. Well, first he's a prince, then he becomes a king. But anyway, I put every ounce of my soul into this novel. And to date, it is still the story that I'm most proud of, right? So I've already told you how it took me hours and hours and hours to write the epilogue. So, it wasn't the epilogue. It was the last scene of the book. Took me hours. The epilogue took hours too because I'm still crying. But anyway, I sent the book to my editor, New York Times bestselling author, Catherine Lynn Davis, who is freaking phenomenal, by the way. I sent it to her, the book, and said, I'll send you the epilogue soon, but here's the completed story. So it was July, hotter than the hubs of hell, and I have to go to the Verizon store to get a new phone. So I'm sitting in the parking lot with the AC blowing on full blast, waiting for my husband to get there. And my phone rings. And of course, the caller ID comes up on the truck I had at the time. It said Catherine Lynn Davis. I answer it like I always answer it. Hello, beautiful. How are you today? All I hear on the other end is sobbing. And I mean the kind where you can't breathe sobbing. It was just... Now, her husband had been ill. So my first thought was, oh my God, her husband died, right? Because she's just sobbing uncontrollably. That's all I hear is this gut-wrenching sobbing. And I'm just picturing her sitting somewhere alone. She's been hurt or she's lost her husband or something like that, right? My mind just goes everywhere. And I said, okay, I know something's wrong. I know you can't talk. I'm going to go right home and I'm going to buy an airline ticket and I will be out there as soon as I can be there, honey. Just when you could talk, you call me back. And all of a sudden I hear her go, you bitch. And I'm like, what the hell? Seriously, honest God, true story. And I'm like, what? She goes, this. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, okay, I'm so sorry. I've overdone it. I'll rewrite the whole ending. And she said, don't you touch a word. So that is when I knew I had arrived as an author and that I was really, really good at this because my New York Times bestselling author editor called me sobbing uncontrollably to the point of hysteria because of the ending of this book. Take my bow now. But it's moments like that y'all need to live for, right? I have not done that to her since. But that book didn't have your typical happily ever after. It was a different kind of book. I'm sorry. I know. I ramble. So anyway, I am still so freaking proud of that book to this day. Real quick, she says, then takes glasses off so you know it's serious and not quick enough. Yes, when the glasses come off, we're going to have to talk. It's kind of like my family knows when I say, now listen. I know somebody's due for an ass chewing of some sort, or I have reached the ends of my patience. As an author, I love it because it doesn't have the exclusivity issue that Kate. Oh, so you're talking about wide versus, yeah, exactly. So that's a whole other show for a whole other time. KU versus wide. I am wide. All my books are wide. I we won't even get started there. Let's see. What else have we got here? If you're writing something, okay. If you're writing something that doesn't make you feel anything, it won't make the reader feel anything either. Exactly. Tony, you made my whole night. Kobo Plus is my favorite, and it's cheaper than KU for a reader, and for $2 more, you can get audio too. I love being in Kobo. All my books are over at Kobo in Kobo Plus, because they don't require the same exclusivity that Amazon does. And again, KU versus wide, that's like a whole 2-hour show all by itself. And I think what I'll do some night is I'll have authors who are in KU and authors who are wide, and we'll get a panel going some night, and we'll just talk about the pros and cons of each. Because, again, I do believe things are genre specific, but I also know that what works for one author isn't necessarily going to work for another author. So that's my 2 cents. I just love this. Oh, Tony, I wish Amazon would drop the exclusive part. Yeah, me too. Anyway, I have a pen wide, this one, and another one that is PNR is KU. Sweet. Yeah, you can, lots of people do that. Some people have books that are strictly KU, and then they have others in different series that are completely wide. And again, you just have to test the waters differently, and be patient. Patient is the absolute key. Patience is key and very vital in this business. If and by that I mean you've got to stop and take a step back and just pay attention to, how do I want to say this? I don't know. I'm getting a headache. I can't form words. I can't find the words. You don't necessarily just want to lay there and take crap that happens, right? But you can't push things too quickly. You can't put that square peg into the round hole. You just can't do that, right? So just be patient, take your time. I'm not a stats person watcher, but I know you need to. Again, I can just hear Chastity's heart breaking right now. I know Samantha's really good at that. She's good at stats and all that stuff. She's phenomenal at marketing. She's phenomenal at pretty much everything she freaking does. And that's one of the very many reasons why I love having her as a friend. Just take the time to smell the roses. Enjoy this part of your career. Again, think of it as getting your gen eds out of the way. Think of it as a learning experience. Don't be afraid to try new things. Just don't try new things every hour of every day, right? Just be patient. What's that saying? That reaction over your ending is epic. Oh, I'm telling you. To this day, still my most favorite novel that I've ever written. And I know I kicked butt in that novel. And Samantha says, oh, well, not everything. I beg to differ, darling. I have talked to you and on more than one occasion about all sorts of different things regarding the book world and publishing and marketing and everything else. And I, for one, know you're just kicking butt. So just putting that out there. Tony said, I felt paranormal would do better in KU, and she does okay. Contemporary, I like it wide. See, again, genre specific. It just depends. It really just depends, right? And I think there are some really, really fabulous, amazing authors out there who, for whatever reason, they just can't get the traction on sales that they deserve. And I don't know why. I'm not trying to be discouraging or anything. I'm just trying to prepare you. Sometimes that just happens. Oh, Samantha says Google is my friend. Uncle Google. Uncle Google. I like Uncle Google and I like Dr. Google. And I'm sure all of us are sitting here going, if anything ever happens to me, I really hope they don't look at my Google history because it's going to be a little weird. Mine is a lot of medieval 13th and 14th century Scottish stuff. Herbs that poison, herbs that kill, stuff like that. So, I hope I don't get in trouble with YouTube over that. Samantha says, I've heard that PRN does do better in KU. Again, it goes back to me saying what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another. And that's just frustrating as hell. Yeah, same here, Diane. Let's see. I'm sure I've missed some things. I have a friend. Okay, hang on. I have a friend who's under strict orders to immediately dump my computer into the river. Yep. I hear you, darling. I hear you. But we can get away with it because we can say, at least I can get away with it. I mean, I've published over 30 novels, right? They find stuff on my computer. All I can do is say, hey, I'm an author. This is all part of the job. But yeah, I think I need to have my sisters-in-law in charge of what happens to my computers. Diana says, now I want to read your books. Drunken. I call him Smurf because I want to call him Dunkin' Donuts when I see Drunken. I just want Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know why. That's just the way my mind works, folks. Okay, it is 20 till 7. I need to go figure out something to eat for supper. Okay, Tony says, I just make sure I Google authority things after the weird shit to make sure you're watching me. Oh, Tony, you kill me. Oh, Smurf says, I've been studying military history of late and certain technological works, which won't be discussed here. I'm sure the NSA wants to speak with me at this point. Exactly. Can you imagine? Just imagine for a moment. One of those alphabet soup agencies wanting to talk to me. I think that'd be a riot. I do. Especially if they caught me mid hot flash. They would see the change of personalities instantly. It'd probably be a blend of Betty White and Joan Crawford during half of it. Oh, well. Oh, good luck, Aurora. I know you can do it, honey. I know you can do it. All right. I'm going to let you all go. Check out the Wi-Fi Smurf tinfoil hat stories. I love it. Anyway, I'm going to let you all go. Everybody have a fabulous, fabulous rest of your week. Next week, the show is titled Catalysts and, Catalysts and Turning Points. That's what we're going to be talking about next week. I just wish you all a fabulous week. I'll see most of you over in Discord tomorrow, where we just sprint for our heart's contents and challenge each other and encourage each other, and it's just a great place to be. For those of you coming in on the replay crew, we love you. You're awesome. Leave a comment, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And just may you all get all the beautiful, pretty words in, and may I someday learn how to talk without my hands. Love you all. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Wednesday night. Bye-bye. Mwah.